My biggest fear, stepping into my femininity.
Oh! Did you hear that? What was her biggest fear? Let's play that again.
Biggest fear, stepping into my femininity.
Did you hear that? Her biggest fear is stepping into her femininity. Now, she's going to talk about this. This is a lot of modern women today. Listen.
A little more complex than it sounds. And it's a little problematic when the things that I want require me to step into my femininity. Femininity. Hope I can say that right the whole video. Why am I afraid to step into my femininity? I don't want to let go of the illusion of control.
Did you hear that? She doesn't want to let go her illusion of control. Women do not want to be submissive. They want to be in control. That's why they're against being too feminine. This feminist movement is anything but being feminine. It's really about trying to have control. That's what this means. Let's keep playing this.
I see control equivalent to power. I see women who play the traditional role as weak and the lesser.
You hear that? That's how a lot of modern women think today, whether they realize it or not. Being a traditional woman is weak. Why is that weak? Let's keep playing this.
In my mind, I believe being an independent woman allows me to hold on to the illusion of control. Let me just pause. This is just a stream of consciousness. I just wrote. I mean, it's, yeah. I just let it flow.
Yeah, she let it flow because they know what they're doing. When women say that they don't want to be feminine and they see that as weak and they play these games, it's because they want control. They see being a traditional woman as being controlled and weak. But you can't have two people controlling a relationship. They're so big on control and being independent. So when you ask a woman to be traditional, that ain't flying. They want control. Let's let her keep going.
Like, let's just flow with it. I am terrified to let go and free fall. I have opened up to the wrong people, and clinging to the independent bad facade makes me feel safer. When you've had
the independent woman facade makes them feel safer. Feel safer. That doesn't mean they are safer. So all this stuff you see about with Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, all this fake female too short rap that's going on right now, that's because it gives them the illusion that feels good that they are not vulnerable and that they are in control. But notice, she even said it's a facade. Deep down inside, women know that this thing that they're doing is a facade. It's not their natural role. That's why she had so much gas about this, because you can't fight your own nature, but they're trying to fight their own nature. And that's why there's so much disarray.
You have to do everything on your own. Who needs anyone? Who needs a man? Men are a liability. Men have hurt and betrayed me.
You hear that? Men are a liability. The men you pick peace, bruh. She ain't picking good situations. She ain't picking good men. She's picking popular men. And some of the men that she's picked that had more integrity, they dealt with her accordingly. But the men are a liability. She's not a liability. She got a 2.6. Didn't want to go semi-pro because she didn't want to wake up at 7 because there's dew on the grass. Has a past. Admits that. We'll show videos talking about that. But men are a liability because she picks the wrong men. This is feminism and modern women in a nutshell right here.
My rough exterior is for my protection. You see me breathing as I'm just let it go. There you go. Get it out. My rough exterior scares people away. And that's what I want. Because being alone is easier than having to open up. I saw my mom get...
See that? Listen to what she said. Ted, what up, bruh? Much love. Being alone is easier because she doesn't want to be vulnerable, because she made bad decisions. There's plenty of men she can be vulnerable to, but she picks the wrong relationships all the time and then blames men and then says, I don't want to be feminine. Because you're being feminine to the wrong things. And that's what's happening with a lot of modern women. They submit and make bad decisions and then say, oh, men are toxic. Men are this and that. Toxic masculinity is because you pick toxic men that aren't being masculine. It has nothing to do with the masculinity part. What if you just pick better men? Then you wouldn't deal with that. But no, they ain't cool enough. They're not popular enough. They don't have as much swag. They can't put me in positions like that. But you're not a liability with your stats? Pay attention, gentlemen.
Mistreated by men constantly. And I never wanted to be like that.
She never wanted to be like that. But she's like that. She did that to PJ Washington. You see the hypocrisy? You see how they tell on themselves? Oh, but she got ass though, so I gotta hit that. Come on, bruh. That's what we be doing. I don't have none of these problems with the women I date. And I've had some good looking women because I know how to pick. Or if I make bad decisions, I bail quick. I don't get fully invested like that. But this is modern men. But she look good though.
I think if I'm independent in every area of my life, it increases my value as a woman, being able to provide.
See that? But even that's BS. If you can provide, then why do you need PJ? I thought he's a liability, right? Straight BS. Stop listening to what they... Let me get bigger with this so you can see me when I say this. Stop listening to what they say. Watch what they do. You got to listen not with your ears. You listen with your eyes. Because in this day and age, people's word don't mean nothing. Nada. Let's bring this back.
That's what I have believed. I have believed that money gives me power and power gives me control. I have abused my power by attempting to control people with what I'm able to do for them financially. If I can do things for you that you are unable to do for yourself, that makes me powerful. And with...
See that psychology right there? Now, let's bring it back to this. Why do you notice that you'll see women who are handling business, but then they'll date these bum dudes? You'll be like, that don't make sense. Why wouldn't she want a guy on her level? She don't want a guy on her level. She likes that she has the power so she can have control. Because if she's a traditional woman, as she said, that's weak. She's giving y'all the game, but y'all ain't paying attention. She has it all on her YouTube channel, but y'all want to just look at the ass instead of what's coming out of her mouth. She gave up the game plan. I saw this within doing 1 week of some full due diligence of Brittany Renner. Actually, 1 day, because I've been paying attention to the story for a week. But I actually today did all my little research before I actually did this video just now. If I could see that in 1 day, how did PJ Washington not see that? And that's what a lot of men do. They don't fully vet their women. They're not constantly vetting. And that's how you get in positions like that. Because again, you let your lust take over. As wise as King Solomon was in the Bible, he let his lust be his downfall. It's better to masturbate sometime, guys. But remember, men are the liability. She ain't no liability. See how there's no accountability there either?
That power gives me more control. And that control increases my value.
See
Nobody
that?
can hurt me if I...
She has more value if she has more control, not being submissive and feminine, but being in control. Now, I'm going to get personal here, and I've talked about this on other streams. Now, I'm not saying my mother is perfect, but my mom is a traditional feminine woman that's submissive and has made, from what I've seen, the right choices of men. I've seen her with my father and with my stepfather, both two men who had high character, high morals, didn't treat her like crap, treated her the way that needed to be treated, gave her all they could. Sad to say, both my father and stepfather passed away. My mom didn't get to go off in the sunset with her partner. But when they died, they gave my mom everything. And my mom has no problems with submission. She doesn't understand this stuff. When I tell her this stuff, she's like, what's wrong with that? Because she knows how to pick the right guys. She sees submission as power because she gets put on a program with good men and they set her up and take care of her and cater to her because she's submissive. Just because a woman's being submissive doesn't mean a man doesn't provide and take care of you. That's what we're supposed to do. Real men earn the submission. So there's a power in submission because you don't submit to the wrong people. That's what she's not telling you. She's submitting to unworthy guys and then saying men are a liability because she doesn't know how to pick who to submit to. And that's what these women are getting influenced by. And that's why modern dating is in the dumps right now. That's the psychology going on right now. And that's why she represents a lot of modern women.
hold on to this power.
And that power is not even power because she's not getting the results she wants. But she even said it's an illusion. But she'd rather cling to the illusion because the illusion feels good than the reality of what she needs to do. That's some female nature right there for you.
My first relationship was abusive on all levels.
Now you're going to give the sob story, but you abuse PJ Washington. Get the hell up out of here with that. See, and this is where men fail too. We let this fool us, them crying, them getting their emotions. A lot of these women have Oscars and Tony Awards, bruh. Acting awards. She competing for best actress right here because she gonna say all this, but then still run game on different men.
It hurts. I can't even lie.
That's enough on that one. We got the point on that. But you see what I mean? You make bad decisions, and then the rest of the men have to pay for it because you can't learn from your mistakes. Now, watch this. She has another video. Where'd this go? And it's talking about her past. Now, listen to this. Again, this is modern women, y'all. Listen to this, because this is the one that's a big one right here. Women validating their bad past. Listen to this.
Allow myself to feel whatever I'm feeling. I received a DM recently that I wanted to talk about. And it reads, how do you get a man to respect you even if you have a past? How do you do it? You're unapologetically you and you're comfortable in your own skin. How do you get so much confidence and courage? First things first.
You see how she dropped that phone and all that? She ready to go in. She knows what she about to say. Now listen to this BS.
I am not defined by my past.
That is a number one argument people are going to say. I am not defined by my past. You are defined by your past to a certain extent. That doesn't mean you can't change. But if you weren't ever defined by your past in anything, then there would be no reason for consequence. And people would do whatever they want. That's a BS statement. What happens when you go to buy a car and you want to get a loan? They look up your credit history because your history shows who you are. Did you make the right fiscal decisions for us to lend you some money? Because are you going to default on this loan? Are you a liability? What shows if you're a liability or not? By your trends, your past. But I'm not defined by my past. So when you need a mortgage, you need to get a car, you need to apply for a job, you have a resume. In anything in life that has position, you want to be a president, a politician, you have a history that people look at. But when it comes to your sexual past and your boyfriends and who you picked as men, that doesn't matter. That makes no damn sense whatsoever.
A man does not validate me.
No. But your actions validate who you are. Hence, what is it? Your past. Bruh, I've had women tell me on first dates that they slept with 2 men, and I didn't ask. Did all these wild and kinky things. Did hardcore drugs. Whatever. I didn't ask. But then when I feel a certain way about that, because I don't live my life like that, and I have a certain standard, I'm the one that has the problem because I'm judgmental. But everything about what I bring to the table, you're judging. You're judging how I dress. You're judging my teeth. You're judging if my bald head looks shaved good or not. You're judging if I'm going to do well in the bedroom. But you can't judge them off of past actions that they have done, but they can judge you on the perceptions they see of yourself. You see how hypocritical this is in this day and age? But again, you know whose fault that is? Us as men.
I validate me. Let's be clear on that. I don't get too high or too low about anyone's opinion outside of mine. If I wouldn't take advice from you, then your opinion holds no weight over here. Somebody cares about your opinion somewhere, but not me, not here.
She didn't care. Why is she making videos about this to validate this stance? Wouldn't she just live her life?
Okay. When people do offer their opinions, I am always sure to take into consideration their awareness or lack of. I also understand that a person could speak with so much conviction that it sounds like it's true. Like the way that they're putting it, they can't be lying about what they're saying. But just because it sounds true, someone is speaking maybe from a good place, doesn't make it true.
She's doing what she's talking about. She's saying a lot of bullshit, but because she says it in a certain way with conviction, it seems so right. She's standing on her truth. Is her truth the truth? I've said this before. That came out of a woman's mouth. People that win debates, it's not necessarily if they're right or wrong. It's who's willing to die on their shield about what they're talking about. She's snitching on herself and giving you game right here. But remember, I figured this out within hours of looking at her channel. PJ Washington was dating her for an extended period of time. How did he not see this?
Feelings ain't facts.
See us, the self-projection? Let's go back.
Feelings ain't facts.
Let me go back.
True, someone is speaking maybe from a good place, doesn't make it true. Your feelings ain't facts.
Isn't that what women do? Don't they do stuff where their feelings, they feel like their feelings are facts? But see how they're flipping it? That's what you have to watch. This is classic shaming right here when you hold them accountable. Now, why will they also deal with these guys that are bums and you're like, why are they taking care of this person and having control and she should be with a more accountable man? Because those men won't hold her accountable for her past because they leech onto her and need her, and she can get over on the fact that she's doing more for the guy than he's doing for her. So that control, she'd rather be in a miserable relationship but have the control than be in a good relationship and not have the control and be submissive and feminine. This is the state of modern women today.
You don't know me like I know me. At any point in time, I am allowed to change my mind.
But you can change your mind, but you can't change the actions you've done. Once you've done them, they're done. Now you could say, hey, I have passed. I don't do that anymore. But yes, I did those things, and try to encourage other people not to do those things. Look at these prison YouTube channels. These dudes don't deny that they went to jail and that they did stuff that was wrong. Big Herc, Wes Watson, I believe. Look at these YouTube channels. All those prisoners say, you know what? We did stupid stuff. I can't take that past away. Don't follow what I did. They take accountability and give their stories so that other people don't follow in their footsteps. She's doing the exact opposite. She goes, I have a past, but I don't care. I'm going to change my mind. It doesn't matter anymore because I can just say that's not who I am anymore. That's always going to be a part of who you were. Because again, it's your life history. Your history can't be erased. Again, why can you say that you could just erase that life history, but in all other areas of life, you can't do that? You can't go to a bank and make horrible financial decisions where you have a bad credit score, but then decide I'm not that anymore. And then poof, the creditor goes, oh, okay, since you didn't decide that you have a bad credit score, we're going to say you got an 800. We're going to give you the best loan possible. Do you know how the housing crisis, let me cam up here and get bigger. Do you know how the housing crisis happened in 2008? This is what happened. And this is why I use that analogy. When you get loans, they look at your credit history. If you don't have a good credit history or strong enough, but someone gives you a loan anyway, it's called a subprime loan. So what was happening is there was a boom where people were trying to get houses and they weren't qualified, but these banks got greedy and they gave out too many subprime loans. What happened was they were relying on that money to be paid back to get the interest. And too many of these people started defaulting on their loans because we hit a recession and the economy collapsed and hit a recession. And it messed up a lot of the banks. That's what happens when you ignore the past. Your past shows that you're a liability. But again, men are the liability. You see how it's this twisted, feminist, new age, I can just say confidently stupid stuff, but because I'm pretty, I can get away with it. Why? Because most men will let me get away with it because they're going to bend their morals to try to hit. This is a problem right now in modern society. And PJ Washington and Brittany Renner are just a small example of what's going on with a lot of people out here on the regular.
nobody's permission is required. So even if people are wanting to keep me in this box they have me confined in, it is still up to me and my choice what I want to do.
Yeah, that is your choice, but you're making choices to put you in that box. No one told you to do that stuff. You could have made the choice to pick better men. You could have made the choice to ration out, giving yourself out. Why didn't you do that? Because guess what? If you would have done that, you would have never been put in the box to begin with. People don't put Ayesha Curry in that box because that's not the image she puts out there.
If I want to stay there or if I have bigger plans for myself. But either way, there is not anyone's approval that's needed. I speak very openly about a lot of things that have just gone on in my.
So she don't need nobody's approval. That's not true at all either. If you want to be in a relationship, someone has to approve of your actions to be with you. And that goes both ways. You need approval from some people at some point, and it's not approval on validation as far as empty stuff, but you need to have consistent actions to approve you for the things you want in life. You have to earn things. That's participation award. That's participation award mentality all day right there. There is a hierarchy of treatment by what you do and the results that come from your choices.
My life, and I have been greatly judged for my truth. It's funny because
I've been greatly judged for your truth. Yeah, because you did things that will get you judged for it. And you know that. Not to say you have to do that, but if all you did was baking cookies and being feminine and had a high school sweetheart and you were only with him your whole life, not saying you have to do that, but let's just say that was her decisions and all that, she would have been judged in a good way, and she probably wouldn't be having to make videos like this, addressing pasts and trying to help other people that have passed too. Brittany Renner is pushing this narrative that validates people who don't want consequences of their actions. And because she's popular, they find power in her because she's saying stuff to validate them, because she's saying things that validate their feelings that aren't fact. The same thing she's saying that she's trying to use as a damn, argument. Red sings the blues. What's up? She's snitching on herself right here. I found all this stuff where she's snitching on herself on her own YouTube channel within 2 hours. PJ Washington didn't see none of this. I've never breathed the same oxygen as she has. So he should have saw this sooner than I.
Judged for things that people do in private or wish they could do. I'm for the
that little hair roll, that's not like making your argument any stronger. But they be doing that. So I'm doing stuff that people do in private or people wish they could do. Okay, well, guess what? Why do you think they're keeping it in private? Because they know they'll be judged. But you want to do these things, put it outward, make money off it, but not be judged. And you know that's not how it works. But because you could try to be confident and say, oh, I'm going to put it out there, you can't judge me because I admit my past. No, your actions are judgeable. So because a criminal admits, hey, man, I robbed 5 banks, I murdered 3 people, but I own my truth. I'm not going to do that anymore. There's no consequences for what they do. We know that's not true. You find that out, they're going to get multiple life sentences. But she can admit that she's made horrible dating decisions that make her not wife material and done things that not make her wife material, but because she owns her truth, that's a get out of jail free card as far as consequence and accountability. See that twisted logic they try to throw?
Streets because I've moved on from relationships.
We're not calling you're for the streets because you moved on from relationships. We're calling you for the streets because you're for the streets. You're doing for the streets behavior. No one's calling Michelle Obama for the streets. Like, come on now. Where's the accountability? Oh, there is none. Because we all know with a lot of modern women, accountability is like Superman and kryptonite with them.
I'm not wife material because I've had sex with men. But the funny thing about that is I could become a nun tomorrow. And do you know what people would still comment under my post?
You could never become a nun. The nuns would be like, hell nah, get out of here, bro. You could never be a damn nun. Just look at her body language and how she acts. Just look at how her face looks right there. I know it's a freeze frame, but her energy and the things she say are so stupid. And she knows that deep down. That's why she has weird energy about what she says, because it's not natural. Just like in that other video I played earlier where she was talking about how she wanted to not be feminine because she saw feminine as weak. That's what women think, but they know that's not their natural state. That's why they're all screwed up. She even said they put that hard facade, but in the back of behind the scenes, they're not really like that. Just like Cardi B, just like Meg Thee Stallion, just like a lot of these women. But women want to push that we're fake female too short thing, but that's not y'all's role. Stop fighting your nature.
You're still a thought. Your honus can't be deleted. There's really no winning with stupid people, and they will beat you with experience, honey, every single time. I am not a bad girl that's trying to be good now. I've learned along the way that I don't have to identify with any labels that don't resonate with me. I don't even have to label.
That's enough, bro. You just spewing BS. But it's not that I had to go to the YouTube channel to see that, to be honest with you.
Me going through what I've gone through.
I didn't have to go to the YouTube channel to know she was about that. I could just watch her actions and her body language. I just went there to see if she was talking about this, and she confirmed it with her own words. But how did I find it within an hour or two? Because I can read that. I could have read that at his age. PJ Washington should have been able to read that sooner than me, because he should have more experience than women being in his position in life. You're an NBA prospect. You got drafted 12th overall. You know what I mean by that. He has more exposure and more opportunity than me to get a lot of women just off of that. We know how this world works. Not to say I don't get my opportunities, but through all that time, you never learned anything about female nature and how manipulative they can be. Not saying all females are like that, but a lot of these modern women go to these phones, and these are the role models that they have, and they spew the same stuff. This should be a repeat of things you see over and over and over again, and you should be able to avoid this more than the common man because you have more reps at this, but they're a lot stupider.